Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our English podcast. My name is Jack, and I'm very happy you're here today. If you are learning English and you want to speak simple, real English, this podcast is for you. Today, I want to share about how to talk about problems, daily English speaking. Before we start, please like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who is learning English. Good job for being here. Now, relax, sit comfortably, and let's start. 1. The importance of problem solving. 1. Problems are universal. Welcome to this very important chapter. Before we learn the words and phrases, let us think about the concept. What is a problem? A problem is simply a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Everyone in this world, no matter how rich or how successful they are, faces problems every single day. In 2026, our problems might look different. We deal with technology glitches, busy schedules, and global communication challenges. But the core is the same. Something is not right, and it needs to be fixed. Being able to talk about these issues in English is not just about grammar. It is about survival and success. If you cannot explain what is wrong, you cannot get the help you need. That is why problem solving is considered a soft skill that every employer and every friend values. 1.2. The mindset of a problem solver. How do you feel when a problem happens? Most people feel frustrated. They feel stressed. They might even feel angry. This is natural. But in English communication, we learn to shift our mindset. We move from being problem-focused to being solution-oriented. Problem-focused. Why did this happen? This is so bad. I hate this. Solution-oriented. Okay, this has happened. What is the next step? How can we fix this? When you use English to solve a problem, your tone should be calm. A calm voice shows that you are in control. In this video, as I speak slowly, I want you to feel that calmness. When you are calm, your brain finds the right English words much faster. 1.3. Communication as a tool. Think of English as a toolbox. Inside this box, you have different tools. You have vocabulary to describe the issue. You have questions to ask for advice. You have polite phrases to complain without being rude. If you are at work and your project is delayed, you don't have to panic. You just need to reach into your toolbox and find the right phrase. I have encountered an unexpected challenge, and I would like to discuss some options. This sounds professional. It sounds confident. It shows that even though there is a problem, you are the person who can handle it. In 2026, companies don't look for people who have no problems. They look for people who can communicate and solve them. 1.4. The 3 steps of the process. In this series, we will break down the language of problem solving into 3 clear steps. Definition. How to say exactly what is wrong. For example, the engine is overheating. Collaboration. How to work with others to find a fix. For example, could you help me look at the settings? Resolution. How to confirm that the problem is gone. For example, everything is back to normal now. By mastering these 3 steps, you will never feel helpless again. Whether you are traveling in a foreign country, working in a global office, or just living your daily life, you will have the words to turn a bad situation into a solved situation. 1.5. Vocabulary for the introduction. Let's practice some powerful words from this introduction. Listen and repeat them after me very slowly. Encounter. Invaluable. Navigate. Obstacle. Perspective. 2. Identifying the problem. 2.1. The clarity of description. Once you realize there is a problem, the first thing you must do is identify it. Identification means being specific. If you go to a mechanic and say, "My car is not good," the mechanic will not know what to do. But if you say, "The brakes are making a high-pitched squeaking noise," the problem is identified immediately. In English, we have specific verbs and adjectives for different types of problems. Let's look at 3 main categories: mechanical and physical problems, technical and functional. When an object is physically damaged or not moving correctly, we use these words. Listen to the pronunciation and the meaning. Broken. This is the most common word. It means something is in pieces or no longer works. The chair leg is broken. Cracked. This means there is a thin line on the surface, but it is not in pieces yet. The screen of my phone is cracked. Leaking. Use this when liquid or gas is escaping from somewhere it shouldn't. The pipe under the sink is leaking. Jamming or stuck. When something that should move will not move. The paper is stuck in the printer, or the drawer is jammed. If you can use these specific words, people will understand your problem much faster. Instead of saying, "It's bad," say, "It's leaking." 2.3. Technical and digital problems. In 2026, many of our problems are digital. Whether it's your internet, your laptop, or an app, you need these words. Glitch. A small temporary problem that happens suddenly. There was a glitch in the system and my file disappeared. Frozen or crashed. When your computer or phone stops responding completely. My screen is frozen. I can't click on anything. Bug. An error in a software program. The new update has a bug that makes the app close automatically. Lagging. When something is working, but it is very, very slow. The video call is lagging. I can hear your voice, but the picture is slow. When you talk to an IT support person, you should say, "The application crashed while I was saving my work." This gives them the exact information they need. 2.4. Functional and performance problems. Sometimes an object is not broken, but it is not doing its job correctly. We call this a performance issue. Malfunctioning, a formal word for something not working the way it was designed. The smoke detector is malfunctioning. It goes off even when I am just cooking. Drained, usually used for batteries. My phone battery is completely drained. Inconsistent, when something works sometimes but not always. The Wi-Fi signal is inconsistent today. It keeps connecting and disconnecting. Practice this sentence slowly. I have noticed that the machine is malfunctioning frequently. 2.5. Using it keeps plus verb ing. A very natural way to describe a problem that happens again and again is using the phrase, "it keeps" plus verb ing. This is very common in daily English conversation. My phone keeps restarting. The tap keeps dripping. The lights keep flickering. This structure shows that the problem is not a one-time event. It is a persistent issue. It helps the listener understand the severity of the problem. 2.6. Practice exercise. What's the problem? Now, let's do a small exercise. I will describe a situation and I want you to identify the problem word. You are trying to open a door, but the key will not turn. The lock is stuck. You are watching a movie online and the picture stops every few seconds. The video is lagging. You dropped your glasses and now there is a small line on the lens. The lens is cracked. By practicing these words, you are building the identification part of your English toolbox. 3. Complaining politely. 3.1. The psychology of politeness. Complaining is an art. Many people think that if they shout or act angry, they will get a faster result. But in the English-speaking world, the opposite is often true. When you are polite but firm, people respect you and want to help you. In 2026, whether you are talking to a customer service agent or a waiter, using polite fillers can change the whole conversation. These are words that soften the blow of a complaint. Instead of making the other person feel attacked, you make them feel like a partner who can help you solve a problem. 2 of the most powerful tools in your politeness toolbox are the phrases "I'm afraid" and "unfortunately." We use these to introduce bad news or a complaint. "I'm afraid there's a slight mistake on my bill." "Unfortunately, the room I booked doesn't seem to have a sea view." By starting with these phrases, you are telling the other person, "I know this might not be your fault, but I need to tell you about a problem." It opens the door for a friendly solution. 3.3. Indirect questions and softeners. When we are angry, we tend to use direct sentences like "fix this now" or "why is it broken?" But polite English uses indirect questions. Compare these two. Direct, "Where is my food?" It sounds aggressive. Indirect, "I was wondering if you could check on my order. It's been a while." It sounds patient and professional. Other softeners you can use include a bit or a slight. The room is a bit noisy instead of the room is very noisy. Not quite. This is not quite what I ordered, instead of this is wrong. 3.4. The 3-step polite complaint formula. To help you reach fluency, let's practice a simple formula for any complaint. Step 1. The softener. "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you." Step 2. The specific problem. "But the Wi-Fi in my room isn't working at the moment." Step 3. The request for action. "Could you please look into it for me?" Practice this entire sentence slowly with me. Excuse me, I am sorry to bother you, but the Wi-Fi isn't working. 3.5. Dealing with different situations. Let's look at some real-life examples you might face in 2026. At a restaurant. "Excuse me, I ordered my steak medium rare, but this seems to be a bit overcooked. Would it be possible to change it?" At a store, returning a product. "Hi, I bought this toaster yesterday, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to turn on. I was wondering if I could get an exchange or a refund." At work, to a colleague. "I'm sorry to bring this up, but I noticed a slight error in the report you sent. Could we go over it together when you have a moment?" 3.6. Handling disappointment. What if the person doesn't fix the problem immediately? You can still be polite while showing you are unhappy. That's a bit disappointing to hear. I was really hoping we could resolve this today. Is there anyone else I could speak to about this matter? Using the word disappointing is much stronger and more professional than saying, I am angry. Chapter 4. Asking for assistance. Seeking help clearly. 4.1. Introduction. Why asking for help is a skill. Sometimes, a problem is too big to solve alone. In 2026, being able to ask for help is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of intelligence. It shows that you understand your limits and you value your time. However, asking for help in English requires the right balance. If you are too direct, you might sound demanding. If you are too shy, people might not understand what you need. In this section, we will learn how to ask for assistance in a way that makes people happy to help you. 4.2. Informal requests for friends and family. When you are with people you know well, your language can be relaxed and friendly. Here are 3 common ways to ask for help. Can you give me a hand with this? This is the most popular phrase. Give me a hand means help me. Do you have a second? I'm a bit stuck. This is great for small tasks. It shows that you only need a little bit of their time. Could you help me out for a minute? Practice this sentence slowly. Can you give me a hand with these groceries? 4.3. Formal requests for workplace and strangers. In a professional setting, we use more polite distance in our language. We use modal verbs like would and could to sound respectful. I was wondering if you could assist me with this report. I was wondering is a magic phrase that makes any request sound softer. Would you mind pointing me in the right direction? Use this when you don't need someone to do the work for you, but you just need a little guidance. I would be very grateful if you could share your expertise on this. This is a very high-level way to ask for help. 4.4. The walk me through technique. Sometimes you don't just want a solution, you want to learn how to do it yourself. This is very common in technical or office work. Could you please walk me through the steps? Walk me through means to explain something slowly, one step at a time. Would you mind showing me the ropes? This is an idiom that means to teach someone the basics of a job or a task. By asking people to explain the process, you show that you are a motivated learner. 4.5. Being specific about your needs. One of the biggest mistakes learners make is asking for help too broadly. Instead of saying, I don't understand this, try to be specific. This saves time for everyone. I've managed to finish the first part, but I'm struggling with the conclusion. I understand the instructions, but I'm having trouble with the software settings. When you are specific, the other person knows exactly where to start helping you. It shows that you have already tried to solve the problem yourself. 4.6. Practical dialogue. Asking a senior colleague. Let's listen to a conversation in an office setting. Notice how the speaker respects the other person's time. Speaker A. Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry to bother you. Do you have a moment to spare? Speaker B. Hi. Yes, I've just finished my meeting. What can I do for you? Speaker A. I've run into a bit of a snag with the new project proposal. I'm having trouble with the budget table. Speaker B. I see. The budget table can be quite tricky the first time. Speaker A. Would you mind walking me through how to enter the data correctly? Speaker B. Of course. Let's sit down and look at it together. Chapter 5. Discussing Solutions. Finding the Way Out. 5.1. Shifting the Focus. Once we have identified the problem and asked for help, we reach the most important stage, discussing solutions. In a professional or personal environment, people value those who focus on the how rather than the why. Instead of complaining about the mistake, we use our English to build a path forward. In this chapter, we will learn how to suggest ideas, how to agree or disagree with a plan, and how to finalize a solution. This is where you show your leadership and your ability to think clearly under pressure. 5.2. Making Suggestions. When you want to propose a solution, you should not sound like a dictator. Use suggestive language to make your ideas sound like an invitation for teamwork. How about we try? This is a very friendly and common way to start. How about we try restarting the system? What if we? This explores a possibility. What if we call the technician now instead of waiting? Perhaps we could. This is a more formal and polite way to suggest something. Perhaps we could postpone the meeting until the internet is back up. Using these phrases makes you sound collaborative. It shows that you want to hear the other person's opinion too. 5.3. The workaround concept. Sometimes you cannot fix the real problem immediately. In these cases, we use a workaround. A workaround is a temporary solution that allows you to continue working while the main problem is being fixed. Is there a temporary workaround for this? For the time being, let's use the manual method. We can bypass this error by clicking here. Using the word workaround shows that you are practical. You are not letting the problem stop your progress. You are finding a way to keep moving. 5.4. Evaluating options. When there are multiple solutions, you need to discuss which one is better. We use comparative language for this. Option A seems more reliable, but option B is faster. On the one hand, we could wait. On the other hand, we could try to fix it ourselves. I think the most effective way to handle this is when you evaluate options, you are using critical thinking in English. This is a high-level skill that will make you stand out in any job interview or workplace in 2026. 5.5. Finalizing the plan. Once everyone agrees on a solution, you must confirm it. This ensures that everyone knows what to do next. So, the plan is to... Let's go with your suggestion. I'll take care of the phone calls and you handle the paperwork. Does that sound like a plan? We've decided to move forward with the second option. Confirming the plan prevents confusion and makes sure the problem actually gets resolved. 5.6. Practical dialogue. Resolving a conflict. Listen to this conversation between two team members trying to fix a deadline issue. Speaker A. We are 2 days behind schedule because of the server crash. What should we do? Speaker B. Well, what if we ask the night shift to help us catch up? Speaker A. That's an idea, but it might be too expensive. Perhaps we could prioritize the most important tasks first. Speaker B. I agree. Let's create a list of the urgent items. How about we focus only on the main client for now? Speaker A: That sounds like a plan. Let's get started immediately. 5.7 Vocabulary Review. Let's repeat these solution words slowly. Proposed, feasible, compromise, implement, resolution. Chapter 6. Practical Dialogue. The Technical Issue. 6.1 Introduction to the Scene. Technology is the backbone of our lives in 2026, but as we all know, technology is not perfect. In this chapter, we are going to listen to a full conversation between a customer and a technical support agent. The goal here is to notice how to stay calm when you are frustrated. We will use words like router, reboot, and bandwidth. If you are listening to this for practice, try to visualize the blinking lights of a modem as we speak. 6.2 The Dialogue. Slow and clear. Hello. Thank you for contacting Global Tech Support. My name is Alex. How can I assist you today? Hi, Alex. I'm having a major issue. I'm working from home and my internet connection has completely dropped. I have an important video call in 20 minutes, so I'm a bit stressed. I understand, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Let's try to fix this quickly. Is your router showing any red lights? Yes, the internet light is flashing red, but the power light is solid green. I've already tried unplugging it for 30 seconds, but it didn't help. Okay, thank you for trying that. That is called power cycling. Since that didn't work, I am going to run a line test from my office. Please stay on the line. I've finished the test. It seems there is a signal interference in your building. I am going to reset your port remotely. Can you check the lights again in 10 seconds? Okay. Wait, the light just turned orange, and now it is solid green. I think it's working. Let me check a website. Yes, I'm back online. Great news. It looks like your bandwidth is back to normal levels as well. Thank you so much, Alex. You really saved my workday. It was my pleasure. Is there anything else you need help with? No, that's all. Thanks again. Bye. 6.3 Deep Dive. Technical Vocabulary. To make the most of this dialogue, let's break down the technical terms. Using these words correctly makes you sound like an expert speaker. The connection dropped is a very common way to say the internet disconnected suddenly. You can also say the call dropped if your phone disconnects. Power cycling is the professional term for turning a device off and on again. Technicians use this word instead of reboot. Run a test. When a professional checks a system to find a bug or an error. Solid versus flashing. Solid means a light is staying on. Flashing means it is blinking. This is a very important distinction when describing hardware problems. Bandwidth. This refers to the speed or capacity of your internet. If your internet is slow, you might say, I don't have enough bandwidth for this video call. 6.4 Common phrases for other technical issues. Since this is a long practice session, let's look at other problems you might face in 2026. Repeat these sentences after me to improve your muscle memory. My computer is lagging. Everything is moving very slowly. The app keeps crashing. The software closes every time I open it. I'm getting a 404 error message. I cannot find the web page I am looking for. The file is corrupted. I cannot open the document because the data is damaged. I have low signal strength. My phone or Wi-Fi is very weak. 6.5. Interactive shadowing exercise. Now, let's do something different. I will say the agent's part, and I want you to read the customer's part out loud. Do not worry about your accent. Focus on the flow of the words. Hello, how can I assist you today? I'm sorry to hear that. Is your router showing any red lights? 6.6. Chapter Conclusion. Mastering technical English is like learning a secret code. Once you know these words, you can handle any digital problem in any country. In our next section, we will move away from machines and talk about people problems, specifically how to handle disagreements at work or with friends. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing every day. This is Jack. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.